Welcome everyone to episode 3 of Keys and D. I'm your co-host Nij, and today we're going to be talking all things Ye. We're going to kick the episode off talking about the release of Kanye West's new album Donda 2, how it's only available on his new STEM music playing device, and we're going to be comparing it to last year's original Donda album.
Hello everyone, I am your co-host Key, and we're also going to be talking about Kanye West's new documentary on Netflix, Jeen-Yuhs, Act 1 and Act 2. We're also going to have a special local rapper, DonKingdom, as well.
All right, Key. Well, first and foremost, I think we need to start this episode off with me walking a take back. In episode 2, we were asking each other which artists we thought would be dropping albums this year.
Kanye this month.
This month? Absolutely not. He's lying. Anytime he says he's going to drop something within the next 2 weeks, it has not come out. I know it's supposed to be Donda 2, and Future's supposed to be executive producing, and I think it's all a lie. But whenever he drops, I'll listen. I'm sure it'll be great. But anyway, me being wrong aside, Donda 2 did release in a way.
Yes, sir.
At the time of this recording, it is not on any streaming platform, so you can't find it on Spotify, you can't find it on Apple Music, you can't find it on SoundCloud, and you cannot find it on YouTube. But you can buy Kanye's $200 STEM playing music device. Key, can you kind of explain for our audience what exactly that is?
Yes. So STEM player is a new device that allows you to let me see what it says right here. It's a new musical device that you can customize any song, so you can basically play around with isolating various elements of a song. So I've seen countless videos of people isolating vocals. So if you want to hear your favorite R&B artists like Frank Ocean or The Weeknd just really sing like heavenly sounds
with no beat
the
in
music.
the background, right?
Yeah, without the music. Just basically like an acapella thing. Just get a STEM player, and they look really interesting. I would get one, but I already have a Alexa from Amazon. I already have the i HomePad at home. So but that device, it intrigues me a lot. Like,
it's kind of like a speaker, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a speaker.
But you can, like you said, isolate vocals or isolate, drum loops and stuff like that. Yeah, that's super dope, super great. I think that when, Kanye actually first came up with the idea for the device a few months ago, it seemed like, the public was with him. People were excited about it. However, now that he's dropping an album and saying it's exclusively available on the STEM player, I think I've seen pushback recently where it's like, how are you going to put the music on there and not on Spotify? So, I mean, hey, that's the way the world works. Sometimes you love an idea, then something happens, and all of a sudden you don't. And, I can't fault people either. I mean, I think two things could be true here. I think the STEM player could be an awesome device, something super fun for artists or people who love music to play around with. Right. And I also think I would love it if, Kanye's album was available on Spotify. Right. But I know that he was saying he was doing this for a reason, right? He wanted to be taking, more ownership of his music. Kanye owns his masters now. He almost had an exclusive deal for Donda 2, to be streamed exclusively on Apple Music on the first week, but then retracted it and opted to go with putting it on his own, device and push that out. And I think that's fair. I think it's up to, creators of music how they're going to push that out, whether we like it or not.
Exactly. And Kanye is innovative when it comes to dropping music. Like I remember when I think it was The Life of Pablo dropped, he said it's only going to be exclusively streaming devices. Like you won't have streaming platforms. There aren't going to be any physical devices. And yeah, I think that's really cool how he continuously finds new ways to drop music and basically collect money. You know what I mean?
And I think that, the different ways, Kanye innovates, sometimes even for better or worse. I just think it's interesting that, Life of Pablo came out in 2016. At the time, it's like, oh, Apple Music exclusive. Well, that's not cool. Like, where's my physicals? And then 6
Right.
years later, we're like, oh, I can't get this on Apple Music. That's not cool. I can only get it on the STEM player.
Right.
So I think that's an interesting barometer for, the way he pushes the boundary. As for me, I think we're going to talk a little bit about the actual musical contents of the album, not because we have STEM players,
Right.
but because we have a plug. Yeah, the Suburbans are going to be outside as soon as this episode drops to come get us. But no, really, he did have a live listening event for the album as well, and some great person took the audio files from that live event in Miami and started pushing them out, and I have them on my computer. I'm changing my name legally right after this episode drops, just in case Kanye don't come for me. But
tell us how it was. How did you like the album?
Donda 2, based on the live music files I have, so keep that in mind, sounds like there's a little more cooking to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 45 minutes long, 15, 16 tracks from the files I have. I know that there's a few songs that are on the STEM player version of the album that I do not have and haven't listened to. And I think that in the audio files from the live event, there's a song that was in there that's not even a Kanye song. It's a Pusha T song that Kanye produced. That's also in this little package I have. So it's probably a 1 to 2 song difference. But all in all, I do have the album, and I really liked it. But I just think it being titled Donda 2 is a little interesting, because to me it couldn't be more different.
Right.
And I guess that happens with sequels sometimes. Sometimes you take a heel turn, but I just don't see why there's any reason it should be called, Donda 2. It doesn't feel like a Donda follow-up, except for the fact that, he has lines in there, about his mother. And, by the way, Donda West is Kanye West's, deceased mother.
Yep.
And that was the inspiration behind the first Donda album, which dropped in, I believe, August of last year. Somewhere around that time.
Yeah.
And now we're here in February 2022, and Donda 2 is out. And it's not the same musical vibe, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a lot less soulful. The drums, kick in a lot harder. It feels closer to a trap album.
Okay.
Than, whatever. I mean, there's drums on any album.
Right.
But you know what I mean? In Donda 2, they're much more prevalent. They're louder. They're more frequent. The type of artist he was getting on them. It just felt like the vibe of the album was different compared to the first one.
So, like, you already know my opinions on the first album.
For our audience, what are they? I do know them. I'm very familiar.
All right. So for Donda 1, I just think that the album wasn't, up to par for me in terms of a Kanye album. I think that it played heavily on, the artists that he had on the album, so the features. I feel like the only reason why I think people think the album would be good is because of those features. Not just because of Kanye, it's because of those features. Obviously, Kanye's on there rapping, doing his thing, but that's not the most memorable part about the album when people talk about the album, you know what I'm saying? Like, you always hear people, like, they'll say something about Hurricane, how that song has, what is it, The Weeknd on there?
The Weeknd's on there.
The Weeknd,
Lil Baby's on there.
Baby,
We just talked about He Can't Miss
or, like,
last episode.
Praise
Remember?
God. How it has Travis Scott, Baby Keem. I feel like I'm missing somebody on there.
Oh, you're missing a lot of people. There's a whole
know
lot
what
of
I mean?
collaborations on there.
A whole lot of collaborations on there. And that's the reason why the album is good. The Netflix documentary that just dropped, Jeen-Yuhs, Act 1 and Act 2 have a lot to do with, the creation of the college dropout. And it gives you, it takes you through basically his life journey and, all the struggles he had to do to actually have the album drop. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, starting off just as a producer and, turning into a rapper, and nobody was taking him seriously. Everybody wanted him to make beats. Was it Rockefeller at the time before it was Roc Nation, right?
Yeah, Rockefeller Records.
Yeah, Rockefeller Records, Dame Dash, Jay-Z, all of them, I would say they were using Kanye for his beats, and Kanye throughout the, the 2 episodes that we watched was just like trying to break free from that. And, it's like, I'm a rapper too, you know what I mean? So,
and he did
break free from that, everything that we know now about Kanye. It's just really interesting to see, his life journey, from the beginning, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the good thing about documentaries is we know how the story ends.
Right.
So even though we're only 2 episodes in out of the 3, you know, watching so far, which I've really enjoyed, just like it sounds like you have.
Right.
Like we do know, obviously, 15 years in the future, here we are debating his probably 10th studio album or something like that. So, but seeing the come up is real inspiring. And I think the thing I like about it most is I think if people are Kanye fans for different reasons at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's some people that are super motivated by his music, super motivated by his fashion, super motivated by whatever else. I mean, his innovation, the STEM player type stuff, all of that. Maybe just you like the Kardashians and he was married to one of them for so long, so you're into him for that. But I think either way, all of that has kind of been encapsulated in the first 2 episodes. Right. It's not a documentary that spans his entire career. Right. It seems like it's just something that kind of sums up his come up, you know, from just being a local rapper and producer in Chicago to the release of one of the best hip hop debut albums of all time in The College Dropout. Exactly. But even still, in those early stages of his career, you get everything. You get his awesome production. You get his awesome rapping. You see his hustle, his grind. You see his innovation. You see he's dressing different from other artists. You see he's talking different from other artists at the time, making different music from other artists. Yeah. All the things you like him. He's funny. He's always been funny. I mean, some people probably do like Kanye just because of his tweets. Probably don't even listen to the music and just think, oh, he's funny on Twitter. He's a super troll. He's doing all that in the documentary, and it's all coming in this package. And I think it's nice to see someone like him humanized in a way.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Like, the documentary does a great job of humanizing Kanye. You know what I mean? Like, just coming up as a local producer, and you'll see in the first episode Donda West in the episode, and it was really, you know, cool seeing how much you know, you can see how much Donda meant to Kanye, you know what I mean? And you know, you can see how she supported Kanye and everything that he did. She knew his raps. She liked the chain that he had on. She gave him great advice. You know, the person who put on the documentary, Cootie, was like, you know, I feel like I know why we came to go see Kanye's mom. You know what I mean? Because I feel like he was at that point of the time he was down, and she was the one who uplifted him. So you can see how big of a impact that Donda West had on Kanye in his life.
Can I get a little personal for a second?
Go ahead.
On the pod. I feel like every person's, you know, biggest fan in a lot of ways is supposed to be their mother. And you know, my mom passed away right before I could turn 5. But then my grandma stepped in, you know, and kind of, you know, took over, and she was like the mother figure in my life. And she recently passed away a few years ago. Sorry. About 2. Yeah, no worries. But I just, you know, watching those scenes of, you know, Kanye, you know, not having quite reached the heights he wanted to make it in rap yet, but having been able to, just off what he did already, you know, buy his mom a new house and celebrate his success and celebrate his upcoming success. All of that was really inspiring, kind of just took me to a place. And even though, you know, again, we know how the story ends. Like, we know, you know, unfortunately, Miss Donda West passes away. You know, we know what Kanye's become, and all these years later, he's able to honor her on not just 1, but 2 albums, you know, within the span of a year. And that, all of that just kind of ties together for me. It's like there's this whole Kanye experience thing going on between the music he's making, you know, and then, you know, just the artistry and the documentary being out that really resonates with me. And that level of, you know, personability in his music and, you know, the way his journey is shaped is something that I take with me. Obviously, I don't make music, but I just take with me, period. And
that's heavy, man.
I'm glad we talked about all this today.
Me too, honestly. And then, like, of course, you know, the title is The Good, the Bad, and the you know what I'm saying? But yeah, like you said, that, you know, all these years later, he's able to, you know, honor his mother with albums named after her. And yeah, you have anything else you would like to speak on, you know, the documentary?
Well, maybe not the doc. Yes, the doc is good, the first couple episodes. And like I mentioned, and like you mentioned, I really appreciate the journey. And just to tie it back into all this, you know, Donda stuff, you know, for what it's worth, he can honor, like like I said, he can honor his mother with the name of these 2 albums. And for what it's worth, to me, they're 2 pretty solid albums. I really, really like the first one. The second one has bangers on it for sure. We saw, artists like Future's on there like 3 times. The Migos are on there sounding better than they've sounded in a few years, I feel like. And there's a few other pleasant surprises. I'm not going to come here and push the stem player and advertise for them, but I feel like whenever it can be listened to, I think people should try to listen to it. Please don't hit me up asking for the illegal files, because I won't be sending them.
I've been losing myself, going crazy, Lord, mind been racing, losing sight of who I do it for. So many years of shit, don't know if I can lose no more. Used to call my brothers for advice and now they hit ignore. Hey, I just hit the bank.
So, today we have a special guest. We have local rapper DonKingdom. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, thank you, bro.
Welcome to the show, sir.
I appreciate you. Thanks for having me, though, for real. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, and thank you for commuting all the way from Oakland.
Hey, ain't nothing to come back home, bro.
So you from Sac but live in the Bay?
From Sac but live in the Bay. I loved it here, but I felt like I had to just get out of here for a minute and move away.
Okay.
Not saying I don't want to come back, but I just didn't want to be that dude who didn't leave his hometown.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Didn't see nothing different.
Right.
If you hella mad that I just didn't do it.
You gotta leave the nest sometimes.
Yeah. Just to see if I like it. Even if I didn't how do I know I really like being in Sac if I'm never away from Sac?
Yeah.
And I do miss it, but
I feel
I'm just not ready to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So just a little backstory for people who don't know. This is one of my childhood friends.
Y'all got me third wheeling on the pod.
Hey, man.
I haven't seen him in a long time.
I met you a long time ago, bro.
I think it's man. When's the last time I seen you, bro? It's been years.
It's been years.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. It's almost I can almost count them on 2 hands. I think.
Right.
I think it's been 8 years, 9 years.
Right. So we met back in the 5th grade. We were going to Cordova Villa.
Man, I want to say Cordova Villa, bro.
Cordova Villa.
What it is.
And
See
so
what's going on.
back when y'all linked up in high school, was you making music already, or?
Kinda, but no. I was, but it wasn't as serious as it is today. I was making music. But for me, and you show people and they be like, what is this? I ain't gonna lie, there was a time where you recorded stuff and I was just putting stuff out to make music. If I could go back in time today and tell myself something, I'd just be like, hey, don't drop that. Just don't. Because me and Logan, we were rapping in high school and stuff, but we made a CD.
Right.
And we gave it to everybody at the school. And I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't the best CD. Half of them didn't work. So then when I started making music seriously, people were like, I don't know, we kind of already heard what y'all was making.
Right.
So it took a lot to I'm seriously making music. It's cool to me as progression though. But I also still have that CD.
Right.
And it's hilarious.
It's still sentimental, right?
Yeah, I be looking at it ooh.
What was it called?
We called ourselves DTI, Desire to Inspire.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it's just funny now, I just want to rap to be I want to say some things, and then it just it's crazy how music evolves and how you evolve in music.
Yeah.
And what you come from. I listen to myself, I'm like, damn, I got bad. I turned myself terrible. But
what would you say then was the difference between the music you was making in high school versus what you doing now?
Now, in high school, I think I was trying to do the most, say the most, try to be the most intellectual dude.
Yeah. That J. Cole bar.
The J. Cole
you
thing.
Was trying to make Unc proud.
Yeah, I was trying to get there. And then Kendrick had dropped it was Section 80 or something, or whatever, and then it was oh, bro, at this point I almost gave up. I was I can't do it, bro.
Yeah.
He did Rick and Mortis, and I remember I tried to rap on the Rick and Mortis beat, and I was like, oh, I ain't gonna lie, that's not for me. I'm not the conscious guy.
You try to do that that fast rap?
Yeah,
he was doing.
I was over here talking about Ancient Mariner and this and that. Oh my God, I read that at school. We gonna rap about the stuff I read at school. Great Expectations. Shout out Pip. You know what I'm saying? But it was. But
so, tell me more about. You said you started. You went to Center, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me more about sneakers and fried chicken.
We were in DTI, me, Logan, and we had another dude. His name was RJ Black Diamond, and then Scotty. He's now Rosewood. You know what I'm saying? He's still mixing out here, Studio 6. If you all need music recorded or anything, he's dope. But we were in this group, and we were rapping together and stuff, and it just people started we have not fallen out, but it was just people were going different directions with things. And me and Scotty at the time were just we should just do our own thing. And I just took the name from the Tumblr and put it on us because I worked at KFC and we were sneakerheads. And at the time I was yeah, it's what it sound like. You know what I'm saying? People you call yourself sneakers or fried chicken? And you'd either laugh or you'd be I don't kind of agree with that. But it was borderline like why you talking about like it's a stereotype is what I was going for, but it wasn't like a stereotype because it was really what I was about. So I feel like it was catchy. SNFC, it was dope. And we would have kept going, but we connected with another guy named Winters, and we turned SNFC into Rap Club ENT.
Okay.
And it was just a collective of rappers.
Okay. How big?
About 6 of us.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then now, hey, it's crazy. Like, this is why, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the collective changed, but it's still the same people. We call ourselves 22. But it's just because that was where we were recording at. I ain't gonna give too many details of where it was at, but that's where we recorded at.
Okay.
Just because it was like the address. So, like, I don't know how to, you got millions of people not looking for me, but they might be looking for me. And, like, the name changed, but the people didn't. Like, I'm still in contact with all the people. We still, like, are doing our own thing. It's still, like, a family. We just don't make the same type of music. Everybody
makes different music.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like people fall off and the groups break apart is when they all grow apart and, like, I guess grow. Like, somebody doesn't take it too well. Like, oh, you don't want to make music with me? Like, you think I suck? Like, nah, it's not that. You're going a different lane, and that's fine. So it's easier to be a collective and just be together as a group, but not a group, than be a group. So yeah, and I feel like that's why we stayed so close over the years about like us rapping. Like me, Scotty, Zay, Steve. So, like we're still rapping. Winters, he took a time off, but he's still around. Zamo, he's doing his own thing, like tough, but he's still like part of 22. Like he's still rapping tough. So I'm like, hey, as long as everybody still know we still family at the end, it don't matter to me what y'all do.
So I seen a lot of your music has like the features with Zamo
yeah.
And you said Rosewood
Sky, yeah.
Rosewood Sky.
It's like we all were rapping together, and I just didn't want to bring like not that I want to do collabs with other people, but like I'm strict about like I know who I started with and my people is like, and they are like everybody's still pushing to the same goal, right? Nobody like holding it down. You know how they say you hang around one broke person, you just 6 broke person, or like everybody doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's a group that pushes you to grow and stuff. And Zamo, every time I hop on a song, I feel like I do better than I did the last song. You know what I'm saying? Plus, he gave me the drop. Like I was making music, and then he started dropping songs every day, and I'm like, man, you ain't gonna just out drop me. Like we go. But yeah, so it's like, when we record, I come out here to SAC too, and I like it's a thing just to see my people. It's like I like to record, but I'd rather just come kick it with my people. And if we could work together and make something and have fun while doing it, that's cool. Like that's what I'm really for. But like, if you know what I'm saying, if we don't get anything done, we just kicked it for a little bit. That's cool too, because I could take that longer than a song that like you know what I'm saying, like to hit. But we could always make a song. You can't get time back. So I just like hanging out with like my peoples and keeping like the people that I started with me. Like you know what I'm saying, like
you dropped, so I have Apple Music. So the last album that I saw you dropped was Mud, and that was in 2020. And then you've, I listened to some other projects that you had. You had like, what I like, the 3 EPs that you had was 3, 4, and 5. Yeah. Can you talk about the inspiration behind that? Yeah, those are
behind such a creative name. Yeah.
All right. So this started like I said, like me, I'm a rapper, but I got a day job. So I work at Nike. So I was working, and there's a new dude who got hired. His name was Anthony at the time, and they were like, "Oh, he's from SAC." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, from SAC. So I put my hands up, I'm the only SAC one in here. There ain't nobody else from SAC up in here. I don't know nobody. So I went up there, I'm like, I heard you from SAC. So, I don't know where, but like, it was just funny. Like, I felt like, you coming from my brand, bro? But like, he got in there, and I just clicked with this dude. Like, he was super funny. And like, I showed him my music, and he was just, he just liked it. He was like, yo, I want to rap. He was like, can you get me in there? And like, my thing is, if you tell me you want to rap, we gonna get in the booth. We could go.
Yeah.
Like we could go. Like, and then so I got a session, and we did like, it was when quarantine first started. So like, we both were working at Nike, and then all of a sudden Nike was closed down. So like, it was just, we had all this free time. So we came out here, and we did a tape called Vibe Check, and it was like 10 songs, and actually it was super fun. It was just fun, and like, I don't know what it was, but I think it got like a spark started in this dude, because he just started writing songs. He was sending me beats, just beat after beat, and I'm like, I don't know if I can write this fast, dog. Like, I don't know. And then, but every time we finished like a set of songs, like the first set, we finished 3 songs in the session, and we wanted to drop them so bad. We're like, let's just put them out there. We're like, what do we call it? How about 3? There's 3 songs. And then I was like, okay. And then we dropped that, and it was received well from people. And he's like, well, do another one. And he sent me like another whole piece, and I'm like, so what we gonna call it? 4. I was like, all right. So that was 4 songs. And then like now he was like, now we had a thing where like, okay, we just gotta keep adding songs. So then we like it got to 5. And I was like, let's just throw a bonus track on it so we don't got to do 6. Like, but like, well, like I made all the album arts for it. So like, but like with that project with him is like, it was just fun. Like there was no like trying to impress nobody. It was no like, if you listen to it, like it's hilarious for real. Like he said,
y'all was just having fun.
Yeah. And then people liked the songs where we were really just having fun. I was like, that's what it is. Like it's just genuine passion for like making the music because you want to listen to it, and that's what we did. And next thing you know, like people at the job were slapping it. We did videos like, oh, they had me performing in front of my peoples at work. I had a whole little show set.
Yeah, a little set at work.
Yeah, I would have said it. Bro, we had the mannequins in the back looking like background dancers for me. I was having a good time. But then I realized that's what I liked about music was the fun, the fun in the music. And then like it drove me to make more music, and now he's making his own music, and that's like it's cool too. Is like I showed somebody how to fish, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He continued to fish.
You mentioned 2 things. You mentioned that you make your own. You made your own cover art for the 3, 4, and 5 tapes, and you mentioned that you make music for fun. So can you kind of explain your creative process when it comes to actually making it and then pushing it?
Like so like for the album art, like I had to take a Photoshop class like in high school, like but from there like it gave me like the basics of how to like, you know, cut in like paste and like layers, and like then again I overdo things and I just start messing with things. I figure out what it does.
Yeah.
But like you know, like when you go into like something and like you have a team of people that do stuff for you and stuff, you gotta like outsource and pay for stuff like that, which is cool. But like the times I paid for like certain album artists, like they were good, but it wasn't what like I wanted. It wasn't. And then I realized it wasn't that it wasn't good. It just I didn't make it. Right. So it was like
it didn't feel the same.
It didn't feel the same. It felt like I made half the project and someone presented it with their picture.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Even though it was my picture, it was just like. And then I was realizing I was like the amount of work they were putting into it and what they were charging. Like I know when people put in the effort, and then like that's something I can't do. And then when it turned into something I could do, and I'm like, what am I paying for really?
Right.
I'm paying for someone else's creativity, like.
Yeah.
And I want to showcase mine. So like, and then I wanted the packaging to be like. Just in-house, like, you know what I'm saying? And my boy, he was making, like, Money Blue. Shout out Money Blue. He's also, like, this commission art, you know what I'm saying, for, like, album art. But he taught me how to, like, kind of do some things, too, and, like, showed me, like, some stuff about, like, how to edit your photos. And, like, you could take a picture you had and just take the background out, layer stuff over it, and just, like, which opened my eyes to something I didn't even know I liked doing. So, like, that's when I realized, like, I like making art. Like, that is not just making music. Like drawing and stuff. Like, I could draw a picture, and it's, like, it looks kind of, but it's Picasso, I like it. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, but I like that because it lets you, like, it feels like you're really claiming your, you know, artistry, you know, beyond the music.
And then, like, I've had people actually hit me up to make their album art too, which was cool. Like, you thought my stuff was dope enough for you to, like, reach out and do it. So I was like, that's cool. And then for, like, the fun part of it is more or less, like, the fun for me is afterwards when I'm listening to it, driving down the street, like, slapping, like, and, like, the fact that I came up with the words on a beat that had no words, and, like, the fact you could change the vibe of a song with how you spit on it is what gives me something that's dope. Like, you can sit here and turn this beat up with your, like, the tone of your voice, or you could, like, sadden it with the tone of your voice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be something like real heartfelt, but if you yelling it at somebody, they turned up. You know what I'm saying? And like, just see something go from beginning to end and like it, and then like present it to other people as like, this is me, like right here. And it's like, it's a vulnerable state, I think, too, because it's like I be talking and I be venting in there, like, you know what I'm saying? For real. And that's what I like about the music part, is like it's always something I can go back to and like talk about stuff, and like, if no one listening, I'm listening to myself. And then I'll be like, all right, I'll get my little messages in there, like, we gonna grind today or something. And I'm like, yeah, that's right, today's the day, we gonna grind today. You know what I'm saying? I have been grinding. You right. Let's play that back. You know what I'm saying? But
and so what's it been like to, you know, be an artist during the pandemic, especially, you know, with your last full length came out January 2020, so right before things went sideways.
Everybody was rapping now. Like, everybody was rapping. I'm talking about, like, you weren't rapping? Now you rapping. It's like everybody was rapping. Everybody wanted to pick up a new craft. If it wasn't like making beats, it was rapping, or like everybody was a plant mom or a plant dad. Where y'all at now? I don't see no plant babies. I'm just saying, y'all stop posting them. No, I'm joking. But like, I just feel like there was like a surge of people trying to do the same thing. And like, you know, it was also like there was a surge of money out there, so everybody was just putting on a thing, like putting out videos and stuff, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. So like, that's my thing, is like, I feel like there was a lot of like people making music, and then now there isn't like no music anymore. Real life is back, so now they're just focused on real life, back in what they were like. So it was like a lot of, like, you know, quarantine rappers, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Right. All right. So that was our interview with our special guest.
Thanks for having me. You feel me? Check out the mixtape.
Thanks for coming on, man.
I forgot to tell you, DonKingdom, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, DonKingdom _ on Instagram. If you want to follow me, YouTube, Sneakers and Fried Chicken. I ain't gonna lie, still the same name. I ain't never gonna change it. Thank you guys for having me, for real. Of course, man. This stuff was dope.
But yeah, thanks for listening to another episode of Keys in D Minor. This has been Keyshawn, Nigel, and
DonKingdom.
And until next time, we signing off.
Yes, sir.